Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Kaya Slater, and I'm currently in Queensland, Australia. So it is the morning here for me, and I know that lots of these listeners are going to be in the States, so it's the afternoon. So good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at in the world. Thank you so much for having me in this space. It is such a pleasure to be part of this amazing forum with this incredible organization and all of these incredible guest speakers. What an honor and a pleasure and a privilege to be involved. And also what an amazing, powerful group of people who've been speaking so far and who are yet to come. So I am honored and very grateful to be part of this. So my name is Kaya Slater, and I am originally from the UK and from India, half and half, Indian mother and UK father. I am now living and residing in Australia for the last 13 or 14 years, and I have been serving humanity in my industry now for 25 years, which is quite a long time. And basically, I would describe myself as a transformational empowerment coach and a holistic health professional. Due to all of the different layers of what I do, which is fairly complex and varied, there isn't sort of a name for what I do. I basically work with all of the different layers that is involved with health. Okay, so health, vitality, and well-being. So basically what I'm going to talk to you about today is a subject that I'm extremely passionate about, have written a book about, which is called The Path to Life, and have a signature program, which has the same name, The Path to Life. The subject I'm going to talk to you about today is integrated health and wellness. And I think these terms are often thrown around quite a lot without there being an established or an embodied understanding of what is meant by integrated wellness, integrated health. It is really important that a human being understands that they are made up of different layers, and that all of the different layers need to be taken care of in order for us to thrive. And when we're truly thriving, it means that we're thriving physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And we can simplify things today by considering those 4 layers as the layers we're going to talk about. Now, there are more layers and they can be broken down more as well, but we're going to keep it simple because I only have a short amount of time with you. So if we look at it this way, that we have physical health, the physical body, mental health, the mind, thoughts. We have emotional health, the feelings, and then spiritual health or wellness. And this is 4 layers. This is 4 different layers that we must take care of, nurture, nourish, and support in order to create a foundation for complete wellness. So that's not saying that humans aren't going to be challenged by physical sickness or some mental health stuff or some emotional health stuff. This is part of life. But in terms of taking care of ourselves from a preventative angle, and also from a healing perspective, there always needs to be the awareness of following this path where we are taking care of all layers of ourselves. So when I say integrated health and wellness, I mean that there is an established, disciplined awareness over physical health, muscles, bones, tissues, glands, organs, nutrition, emotional health, the feelings, the expression, the self-expression, the speaking your truth, the noticing and being aware of different emotions and where they may be stuck and where they may be flowing, etc. The mental health, the thought, the mind, the balance of the mind, the clarity, the insight, the ability to receive wisdom that comes from your soul, and the spiritual health and wellness, where we remain connected to the truth that there is a higher power and there is something bigger than we are, whatever that means to us. For spiritual wellness, we're always able to really listen to that guidance of our soul and that guidance of our truth. We're really in tune with what is right for us and what isn't right for us. we understand that everything we do is for a bigger picture, and we understand that we're supported by the planets, by the earth, by the sky, by the elements, and that we're cyclic and we flow with the universe. The spiritual wellness is something that is really struggling in certain parts of the world today because we've become so disconnected from it because of what is available for us in the more technical world, or the more physical world. So a lot of us have forgotten those spiritual roots. Emotional health, we've been taught maybe not to talk, or not to express, or not to overshare, or to suck it up, or not cry, or be quiet. And so we've become disconnected from our emotions. Many people don't even know the difference between the emotions they're feeling because there was never any openness or discussion or learning or education about the difference between fear and anger and sadness and resistance and distraction and all of these different emotions that we feel as human beings. The mental health is such a challenge for so many people because it creates quite a lot of fear. Therefore, it creates a lack of understanding and a lack of support. And so there's a real quick giving medication and, like masking the symptoms of mental health, whereas we can actually do a lot for mental health by just becoming aware of it and then applying various different tools and practices. That doesn't mean that some people will not require medication. They will. And with that physical health, the exercise, the moving the body, the eating well, the lubricating the joints, the making sure the collagen levels are high, making sure we're getting the vitamins and minerals and supplements that we need to support our system, and, moving regularly and all of those other things. This is an integrated self-care system that is required for us to live our best life. And that is what I am here to do. I'm here to facilitate my clients and anyone that is drawn to work with me to live their best life, and to do that by creating a system for themselves where they are able to make sure that each part is being taken care of. Okay, so it can seem overwhelming for people in the beginning. A lot of people maybe are very happy with the way they physically take care of themselves. I hear this all the time in my work. Well, I eat really well and I exercise. I go to the gym 3 times a week. And so then there's a relationship with the physical body that is maybe enough, maybe not enough. Maybe empowered, maybe not empowered, maybe based in something that is actually not good for the person, or maybe they don't even know, they've not got enough advice, but maybe the physical world is being looked after. And a lot of people in the physical world who do take care of themselves physically, they believe, could be actually overtraining, not eating the right foods, pushing themselves too hard, etc. Some people are dominant in that physical world, so they take care of themselves physically, but they never quite get on top because their emotions are too turbulent, or their suppressed emotions from previous experiences have not been visited and healed or nurtured or expressed or spoken through or journaled through or working with a counselor, etc. So the emotional body is impacted. And when the emotional body is impacted, it's actually blocked. So if we think of our chakras, the energy channels in our body, when we have stored emotion and emotion is no longer moving, it becomes stagnant and stuck and no longer flows. So actually energy cannot flow through the body the way that it's supposed to. So as a result of that, the physical body does not work properly. There is imbalances, there will be problems, there will be various different complaints, sicknesses, illnesses, diseases, things that really surface because the emotions have actually got stuck and stagnated in the body. And now, as a result of that, the physical body is not flowing the way that it could be. So when we just look at the physical and we keep going, what's wrong with me? And why do I need to do this? I need more exercise. I need to change my food. I need to take medication. Instead of what we could do is choose to look at the emotional state. So when somebody comes to me and the physical body is doing something, the first thing that I am going to do is go to the emotional state and see where we are at with that. I believe, and in this energetic medicine that I work with and serve with, that any accumulation of trauma, negative energy, emotional stress, mental imbalance can create physical illness, disease, or stress, and sickness in the body. So when we look at it this way, we're expanding out a little beyond the physical and opening up to the fact that there could be an emotional component to our physical health conditions. And so many different physical conditions can be linked to parts of the emotional body that are struggling. For example, if we are, having problems with the lungs and the respiratory system, often we link that to grief that has been held in the body. If we're having issues with the stomach and the digestion and the bowel, that could be linked in some people to holding on to secrets, holding on to things that are unexpressed, not shared, not being fully open in emotional expression. The shoulders, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, we often say there's too much responsibility. So the emotional body is very stressed because we believe we have too many things to do. So the tension then just keeps building in the shoulders. And the list goes on. I could keep talking on that, but I won't. What I want to open up in you is that there is an emotional component to physical stress, illness, sickness, and disease. Apologies if you can hear the dog outside. I can hear it. So what we really want to do here is get effective and practiced with not just running to serve the physical body and to get things fixed, because this is what we do often in the West especially. We don't want to be in the discomfort of the headache or the back pain or the neck pain or the stomach disorders. We want to be out of it. So we need a quick fix, or we need someone to fix us, or there's something wrong, so we have to take medication, or, crack some Panadol in, or whatever we need to do, or go on a really strict diet, or, often we just need to open to the fact that there is an emotional component and be ready to look at that emotional component. And this is challenging for many because it is a confronting situation often when we have carefully suppressed and packed away our emotional trauma, which we all have because we're humans, and we have carefully packed that away, and then suddenly we are confronted with an opportunity to open it up again. It can be difficult, and I always recommend we do this working with a good, amazing, awesome, talented energy healer and coach, trainer, person that you really can communicate with and you find benefit from working with them. So with the work that I do, we always have an energy healing component as well as a coaching, facilitating, mentoring component, because I believe the two are hand in hand, as well as then all of the other bits that come into that too. So having that openness, what is the emotional thing? So next time you have a shoulder pain or a neck pain, or a pain in the stomach, or your digestion's off, close your eyes and just take a few deep breaths. And just ask yourself, what is going on with you right now? Where are your emotions? How are you feeling? Is there something that is not being expressed? Is there something traumatic that is bubbling at the surface? Is there something buried so deep that is continually causing you to be unwell? Emotion comes from the Latin emovere, which means to move out. And so when emotions are doing what they're supposed to be doing, they're moving out, basically your system will receive them. They'll rise from within or they'll come at you. And when they are left to do or allowed to do what they normally would do in an ideal world, they would be processed and then eliminated. Doesn't mean they're not going to come around again, but they will be then again processed and eliminated. When human beings do not process and eliminate, they hold on, blockage in the body is going to be a byproduct of that. So with emotion, coming from the Latin emovere, which means to move out, we must come to some kind of method in which we are able to move our emotions out of our body, maybe we need to even acknowledge they are there or remember they are there, because we can heavily suppress anything that is too traumatic. Going into one stage further with that, whilst I'm on it, there also can be emotional trauma that is taken on in you from others. So from people around you when you're alive and kicking, but also in the womb from whatever is happening for your mother and those around her, and from your lineage. So stuff that is inherited in the genetic blueprint, and also, depending on your belief system, things that have come from past lives. So when the emotional trauma, excuse me, is so difficult and challenging, in some systems of belief, they can be held from one lifetime to the next. So then when you come back in, there's already some emotional trauma in there. So there might be some unexplained behaviors or unexplained feelings that we don't actually know why we're experiencing them. And, maybe we don't need to know why, but we do want to work with actually letting them go. So that concept requires us to become very emotionally aware. How are we feeling? And one of my favorite techniques for becoming emotionally aware is journaling. It is one of those things that so many people naturally do because they might be more mentally inclined. So then writing for them is easier. And it is one of those things that so many people resist. And I've been in my industry for over, 24 years now. I come across it so often that people resist journaling. It's confronting. You're going to write, and that's going to be reflected back at you. You're going to uncover truths. You're going to have to become accountable because you're going to be faced with what is inside you, what is coming out of you, what is coming through you. But that is why we are doing it. When we step up to the actual, to our actual spiritual growth, and when we step up to rise to challenges and to face fears, journaling is an absolute must. We have to do it. We have to get what is inside out, and then we have to be ready to see that reflected back at us so that we can then make changes. Journaling is a powerful practice, and if you're resisting it, I want you to ask yourself why. Because working with me in my programs, journaling with everyone is part of that. And I love these conversations that I have with my clients. It's such an obvious thing. They'll say, oh my God, I've been avoiding journaling again. And I've been avoiding journaling again because I don't want to look at what's going on, or I want to stick my head in the sand, or I've been avoiding journaling because I'm eating terribly, or I'm not exercising, or I'm being angry all the time. It is a very intelligent self-sabotage pattern to avoid something that is going to create change for you, especially when it's positive change, because we become addicted to these negative, harmful emotional states, and we get stuck in our fear and we believe we can't move out of it. And that is simply not true. We always, as human beings, have the power to shift and move and rise. That doesn't mean it's easy, but it's something we must do, because if our emotions are keeping us locked in a certain frequency, we will continue to attract things at that frequency. If we're feeling angry and we're not dealing with that, we will be attracting it into our lives and feeling more of it. Attention goes where energy flows where attention goes. So we will be attracting more. If we're feeling sad but not doing anything about it, we will be attracting more of that because we will be dwelling in it to a certain extent. Same with all of the other emotions, the same as with happiness and joy. If we're radiating happiness and joy, it is a magnetic thing. It's attractive. We're attracting more of it, and we're also then sharing it. So we have to learn to really heal the emotions. And I feel this is a big part of the human race, the collective of consciousness that we're rising into now, these different powerful frequencies. We are being called to heal our emotional bodies so that we can raise our vibration. Because without healing the emotional trauma, we do not raise our vibration, and we cannot effectively live from a place of love. So we really need to step into that, looking at the physical realm and then opening to the emotional realm. So becoming aware of your emotions. Start to journal each day about how you are feeling. and what has been going on for you in the emotional world. How do you feel? Certain situations, what did they trigger? How did you behave? Have a look at your patterns. And I suggest to people in the beginning with journaling to keep it really simple and to give you some kind of prompt. Actually journal for all parts of your body. Remember, there's the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. So have a section in your journal for each. How is my physical body today? Write about it. How is my emotional body today? Write about it. Might be tricky in the beginning if you're not quite connected in that space, but it will come. What about my mental body? The thoughts, the quality of my thoughts and insights and any wisdom coming in. Write about that. And then what about my spiritual body? And, what have I been doing to connect to that part? And that also can be a bit of a challenge. But it's a great way to start to get used to the process. And with emotional healing, often we will need energy work, energy healing. And this for me is the most powerful way. I'm a Reiki grandmaster. I work with 5 different lineages of Reiki. I teach them all. I also work with about 4 different types of energy healing within that. And energy healing is an extremely powerful way to dissolve negative emotions and to target stagnated, blocked emotions that are no longer flowing, to dissolve the negative frequencies and blockages and imbalances that are in your energy field and in your chakra system. It is a powerhouse method, and especially combined with really aligned talk therapy of some kind. And this is a really great way to help the emotions to begin to move. And then we put things in place like tools so it becomes a constant. So we have an awareness of talking about things that are releasing us on a regular basis, putting boundaries in place, saying what we need to say, speaking our truth, becoming self-aware of our own emotional state. It's a big journey, but it's one that is really worth going on. Let's look at mental health now. So mental health, mind and thoughts. So with the mental body, such as stigma, like people are really challenged by mental health, but it's just part of the integrated whole. It's just a different layer. With the mental health, it's the mind that can play havoc with us, and we can have very serious, very, very extreme levels of mental health issues, and then the day-to-day mental health issues that we all struggle with. The idea is mentally there is a equal amount of energy in the right and the left hemispheres so that we can maintain mental equilibrium or balance. So there is the same amount of energy in the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere, or the masculine and the feminine. And when that happens, we're balanced in our center. In Sanskrit, we call this Sushumna Nadi, which is the central energy channel. And in Sanskrit, we also use the left and the right. So we have the left, which is the Ida channel, and then the right, which is the Pingala. And that's explaining the energy channels that run into the center of the body, Sushumna, and then through the left, Ida, and through the right, Pingala. What we want is right and left to be equally distributing energy, equally having energy distributed to them so that the central line is really balanced. And when that happens, we have mental clarity and we have a very harmonious relationship with our receptivity around our spiritual insight, which means we are receiving our messages clearly from our soul or our spirit, whatever you want to look at that. So those higher truths, those messages from above, those really intuitive, insightful pieces of wisdom, they drop in easily and we can take action on them easily because we have mental clarity. So there is no disruption when the energy comes in. What happens with most of us at certain times of our life, or some of us more regularly than others, is that the mental clarity is not there. So there isn't an equality between both hemispheres. So we have a dominance either in the right hemisphere or in the left. And so with that kind of dominance, we become off balance. We may have erratic thoughts. irregular thoughts. We may have a very busy mind and we can't sleep. We may have anxiety. We may overthink everything and ruminate, and so many different things when it comes to the way that we behave mentally. There might be more serious things: obsession, paranoia, disassociation. I'm not labeling anything from the medical model here. That's not my area. But whatever is going on in the mind is creating havoc for the body. So when the mind is not playing nicely, the emotions are then triggered. So the mind has its own little journey, and then the emotions will react as a response, or as a reaction, actually, to the thought that came in. And then we've got this double whammy. So we've got the thoughts are crazy, or something's going on that is very hard and we can't balance it. And then the emotions will react. So then we have that emotional trauma as well. And then the physical body is going to take the brunt of that stress. So again, we're just layering that wellness model. So when the mind is thinking a certain thing and it's ruminating or obsessing or stressed or anxious or not clear, then we might have all sorts of physical and emotional reactivity or response from that, accumulation from that, because we are integrated, we are whole, and one part cannot have a certain reaction response without something else being triggered by that. So what I really want to bring to you here is the awareness of seeing where you are at mentally in each moment. And this is a big one because it becomes so normal for so many people to live in a state of phenomenal mental overload and phenomenal mental stress. And this is not our natural state. This is not our natural state. It is not something we need to accept. There is things that we can do to improve the way we feel, think, live. And when the mental health becomes so consuming and so disconnected from reality, we can create a lot of harm for ourselves and for others. So whilst the mental health in some cases will really need, I believe, some kind of medical support, I really do believe that some people definitely will need medical support. That's by the by, because what we can do from an energetic perspective is support ourselves mentally regardless. So whether or not we're taking medication, I've heard this many times, oh no, I don't need to do anything like that. I take antidepressants. Oh no, I don't need to do that. I'm on some tablets for my mental health. It's like, well, actually, you know what, this would be a really good complementary thing, because we can teach you tools that you then have that you can apply so that you can improve your mental health and your relationship with your mental health, so that we can, you know, become more aware mentally. So let's just go back and have a look. Physical accumulation, often the first thing people notice, but it's actually the thing that happens last, because if we notice mentally and emotionally what's happening in the right time, we might not even have it get to the physical body. But if we have that physical complaint, and then we look at the emotional layers and the mental layers, then we might be able to work with the mental layers and the emotional layers to alleviate physical trauma, disruption, and pain, or illness, sickness, disease. And when we look after the mental body, in turn, the emotions will be better. And you see how it's all a cycle? Mental health care will equal emotional wellness. Emotional wellness will equal physical wellness. Physical wellness will equal mental wellness, and so on. It's a cycle. We can't work in one and not have it impact the other, and we can't have trauma, imbalance, and blockage in one without have it impacting the other. So with mental health, some of the methods that I would like to share with my clients and with anyone that works with me, and that I do share and have been sharing successfully in my work for a very long time, is things like mindset coaching. So we are shifting negative frequencies into positive frequencies through various different methods. So again, let's look at frequency. When there's heaviness and density in the emotional body, the frequency is low and dense, and we need to lift the frequency to a higher vibration to feel better. It's the same with the mental body. If there is mental stress, then there is density and heaviness and a lower frequency. So we need to lift the frequency, raise the vibration, and then we will create more mental harmony. So what I love is things like mindset coaching through affirmations, and we create affirmations for the individual. So I really want to highlight that. Other people's affirmations are not yours. So this is important because many of us follow affirmations of others, but they really need to be aligned with the individuality of the person. So I like to create individual affirmations with my clients that are only for them. And we do this by tuning into exactly what is going on for them and what we need to change and what we need to shift. So those affirmations actually cannot be the same as anyone else's. We can get an idea. If we want to Google search or read a book, we can get an idea of great affirmations. But what I always suggest you do is you personalize them. So you must personalize them with your own energy. Otherwise, often it can just be mental body chatter. It's actually not creating any change or having any impact because it's not aligned with us or relative to us. So when a lot of people, swallow a self-help book and then just are talking in these positive talk, there's no emotional change. There's no spiritual change. There's no physical change because we're not actually truly aligned or resonant with that particular affirmation. So affirmations are so powerful when they are aligned to you. All right. So this is an important piece. Individual affirmations. Also, the way we do it. We don't just read them out a few times. We actually have a practice. So we might look in the mirror and read them out loud 9 times, one for each plane of existence or one for each chakra, if you like. We might read them out loud 9 times a day and write them out once a day in our book. We might write them in red pen because that makes them really affirmed and powerful. We might have other practices in place, which I would love to share more on you. There's so many ways we can do it, but there must be a system and a technique and a method to activate those affirmations in a really sensible, powerful, and potent way. Other things that I work with mindset coaching and the mind is mantra and repetition. So we can use mantras that come from ancient traditions. We can use mantras that come from many different cultures, backgrounds, traditions. We can use mantras that we create ourselves. The practice of mantra from a practical sense is to repeat something time and time again until it becomes embodied, or to practice something time and time again, to say it time and time again until we are no longer separate from it. So if we look at a mantra and a person, this is me, this is my mantra. When I begin to chant it, I'm separate from it. That's why I need it. So it might be, let's look at something suitable and simple. So it might be, I am a magnet to money. Abundance comes to me easily. I might use that in the beginning. It's just one that I have with many clients or a similar role. I might use that in the beginning because I don't feel that is true for me. And I feel as if I'm not one with that message. The more that I chant it and repeat it and say it, the more that I actually become one with it. So I'm over here, the mantra's over here, and we can look at it as object, subject, subjective and objective. They're separate. The more we chant it, the more we say it, the more we repeat it, the more it becomes true. And then it becomes one and we integrate with it. So we are no longer separate from it. And this is powerful, so powerful. And if we're using this from ancient lineages and from ancient traditions, we might use it from Sanskrit. So there's many mantras, and different cultures have their mantras too. But if we're using a mantra from the Buddhist philosophy or from the Hindu tradition, then we will chant it because it has meaning and power and amplification, and it has alignment to something that we are capable of calling in. So we will chant that mantra, chant that mantra, chant that mantra until we are no longer separate from that mantra. And this is a powerhouse way to condition the mind. Also with the mind, breathing. When we breathe equally, use pranayama or breath work, we can balance the mind by bringing the equal amount of attention and energy into both hemispheres. So if we do alternate nostril breathing, for example, we're energizing both hemispheres equally and therefore balancing them in the center. And when they're balanced, we're balanced. Journaling again. We need to empty the mind. So we need to write to get it out. So this is such a powerful practice, is to write what's going on mentally so that it comes out and it's released. And meditation of any kind is going to be a powerhouse to supporting your mind. However, there are meditations and there are meditations, and there is a different meditation for everything. And so what I encourage you to do is not stagnate with the same meditation that you've been doing every day for 20 years if you're still not feeling good. If it doesn't anchor you, if it doesn't feel powerful, if it's not potent, then it's obsolete. We need to get experienced at different types and styles of meditation. I teach a beautiful workshop called Ways to Meditate. I have many private meditation clients all over the world, and I am not working with them in the same way. It is individualized. There is many different ways. We might use mindfulness. We might use moving meditation, mantra, chanting, sounding. There's so many things we're going to do, and it's going to be different because it will be specific to what is going on for that individual person. And this is important. We need to individualize what we are doing and see how this is becoming a pathway. Okay, physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health. Now, if we look at spiritual health, and if you get hold of my book and read my book, The Path to Life. The Path to Life, the book contains 3 sections that lead into the 4th: physical health, emotional health, mental health, spiritual health, and then how to integrate them all together. And if you work with me in my program, Path to Life, which is a transformational, life-changing program that incorporates everything, it is a powerhouse program. This is going to take you through the pathways in order to make sure physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health, and you can see it down there in the comments below. You can see how to contact me. You can see my program in there. This is going to give us the tools that we need to make sure we're taking care of our health. And that book contains many different methods, because we are always going to connect with different methods. What's right for one is not right for the other. So it's important to individualize. And that's why I suggest you work with someone, you work with a coach, you work with someone who can guide you, and you work with someone who understands this magic and can intuitively connect with you and make sure that what you're doing is actually aligned for your needs and your requirements, rather than this one size fits all. Because it's really not the truth and it's not effective. We want to make sure that everything we do is personalized. Spiritual wellness, what we're doing here is we're connecting to a higher power. We are understanding that there is something bigger than what we are here in this physical world. The spiritual wellness is our ability to be able to receive our insights and highest wisdom and connect to our truth and connect to nature and the planets and the stars and the universe, so that we can in turn feel supported. So the universe supports us. And many of us live believing that the universe is against us. When we're spiritually aware, we step into an innate knowing that we are supported by the universe, and that if we are on the right path and taking care of ourselves and loving unconditionally and loving ourselves and being compassionate and physically taking care, emotionally taking care, mentally taking care, that we will be supported by the universe from a spiritual perspective. We can align ourselves to whatever we want to call in. We can bring in whatever we want. We can magnetically attract it. When we attract well, it's because we are clear. So if we are struggling with things like abundance and prosperity and making money and being loved and loving others, there is something at play in the physical, mental, emotional realm that is blocking you from your spiritual sourcing. So we have to follow the path to life, the steps, the self-care in the physical, mental, emotional realm, so that the spirit can soar through the body in this plane. Spiritual beings understand that we are a human here, right here and now, but we're actually a spiritual being having a human experience. So the soul already has its journey and its path, and it's here with a message. It's here with its essence, with its dharma, with its journey. And our physical, mental, and emotional body needs to get on board with allowing that to happen. And the soul simply cannot soar and thrive in a body that is struggling physically, mentally, or emotionally. So it is time for us to really get on top of our physical, mental, emotional wellness, so that our spiritual wellness can soar and we can live the life that we are here to live. If our physical body is holding us back, if our mental body is holding us back, and our emotional body is holding us back, it is an invitation. It's an invitation to acknowledge what is happening so that we can do something about it before it's too late. When the physical body is accumulated with stress, sickness, illness, and disease, it means that we've already allowed it to go too far. We've already missed messages intuitively. We've already allowed our mental health to take over, our emotional health to take over. And now the physical body is giving us a strong message. Now you need to wake up. Now you need to do something, because if this is in the physical body, it's gone too far. So we must hear that voice, the soul voice, the spirit voice that says, it is time to get up, to shift, and to make a change. It's not always going to be easy. That's why we must be supported. Human beings are designed to have support and to be in community. And when we require something that we cannot facilitate ourselves, we must call on external sources for that period of time that we require it. This is what we are designed to do. We're not designed to do everything ourselves. When I have a requirement that I can't fulfill, I will reach out and make sure that I connect with a person who can fulfill that requirement, who can serve me, who can support me, and who can facilitate me to be the best version of myself that I can possibly be in that area. And we are not designed to know it all, to be able to do it all. There is support there. So if any of this is really ringing true for you, then I want you to reach out to me and let's talk, because my soulful role here as a coach, as a mentor, as a guide, and as an energy healer is to support you to be the best version of yourself you can possibly be, and to facilitate you on your healing journey so that you can thrive. And when we acknowledge that healing needs to take place, and when we acknowledge that there is various paradigms, behaviors, blockages, imbalances, thoughts, and all sorts blocking our true pathway, when we acknowledge that, part of the work is already done. The next step is to acknowledge it and then change it. What do I do now? I work with someone. What do I do now? I get the support that I need. I read the book. I step into the program. And I will tell you now, there will never be a better investment than stepping into your own healing and your own growth. When we really, really acknowledge that, the universe is going to send down its potential towards you and support you and lift you up, because you're making a brave step. You're making a brave choice, and you're ready to shift your consciousness and to heal your frequency, raise your vibration, and to step into something that is what you truly deserve and what you are truly here to do. So do not wait, beautiful people. Do not wait. So many people wait. I'm going to wait until this, and I'm going to wait until that, and I need to prioritize that. And, you can't wait when it's your health or your well-being. Otherwise, before you know it, your time will run out. We have a very short window here on earth in each incarnation, and we must honor the vessel that we've been given. If we've been given this physical vessel with this set of emotional tools and this mental body. We've been given it in this life to carry us from the beginning of this life to the end of this life. We have signed a sacred contract to take care of it. And if we take care of it, it will last. If we don't, it won't. And we will be uncomfortable, unhappy, unfulfilled, sick, ill, diseased, whatever else, because we haven't made the choice to step into our true potential. And we haven't made the choice to claim our divine birthright of health, vitality, and well-being. So I have a little link there below, innerjourneywithkaya.com. You can go straight to my program, Path to Life there. You can also hop on my website and book a call with me. I am offering anyone who has been in this beautiful forum a free discovery call. And in that call, you'll talk to me and we will highlight what is going on for you. And I will make suggestions in terms of steps moving forward for you as an individual. So anyone who comes through this forum will get a free discovery call so that we can talk about how we can work together and how I can support you. Please also hop onto Amazon and grab my book, The Path to Life. It is a no-brainer when it comes to stepping up and healing. I have been Kaya Slater, and it has been a complete honor to be here. And thank you so much for listening for the last 47 minutes or so. So please do touch base with me. And if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat. I want this to be an opportunity for you to honor yourself, to love yourself enough to start moving towards a healthier, happier you, because you deserve it. Thank you so much, beautiful ones. I hope you have an amazing day, morning, evening, wherever you are. It's very early in the morning still for me, so it feels like a great way to have started the day. Thank you so much.